he is the greatest Vaishnava, as we all know. So why would he actually preach something which is totally away from the...
He was ordered to. He was ordered to by the Lord himself. The Lord himself came as Buddha. And Buddha is teaching to atheists. Not that, you see, don't look at it this way, that Buddhadev and Shankaracharya came to introduce something. The atheism was already there. The atheistic attitude was there. So they came to preach to people who were atheists, to get them on some kind of path of regulation, to benefit them. At the time Buddhadev appeared, what were the Brahmins doing? They were, it's Kali Yuga already, but they're slaughtering animals in the name of sacrifice. In Kali Yuga, animal sacrifice is forbidden because Brahmanas do not have the power to benefit the souls of the animals that lose their lives in sacrifices. By mantra and these great karmakanda yagyas, the Brahmanas would elevate the souls of the sacrificed animals to heaven, to Svargalok. And they would demonstrate that they had power over the souls by sometimes, Prabhupada says, as a kind of experiment, a scientific experiment, demonstration. They would sometimes bring the animal back to life after it was sacrificed. They would chant mantras and the animal's body would again become not only whole again, but rejuvenated. They would use an old animal and then it would be sacrificed, and then by mantra they would bring the animal back to life in a young body, just to show everyone that we're not killing animals. This is not slaughterhouse business here. This is sacrifice. You see, so people would have faith because of seeing the power of such brahmanas. But in the Kali Yuga there are no such brahmanas, so therefore sacrifice is forbidden. In fact, Madhvacharya, who founded the Brahma Sampradaya in Kali Yuga, he was very Vedic. You see, he was preaching to South Indian Brahmanas, and South Indian Brahmanas are very, very Vedic. So he allowed for these sacrificial rituals to go on, but he said, when it comes to the part of sacrificing the animal, then you have an animal, model of an animal made from dough, from flour and water, and then you can cut the head of that. Because Brahmins today have no power to determine by mantra the fate of the soul of such a creature. So just, the Veda says animal must be sacrificed, so you sacrifice an animal made of dough. So anyway, these Brahmanas at the time of Buddhadev, they were just killing animals without this power to benefit them. So turning Vedic sacrifice into slaughterhouse. So therefore Buddhadev came to say, stop this. He preached to them because they would say, but the Vedas say we should do this. And he would say, never mind the Vedas. They're just creations of man. Why you follow them? Because they had no brain to understand anything. So he just told them, the Vedas are just empty words. Never mind. And he told them to, basically Buddhism means 4 regulative principles. He told them to follow the 4 regulative principles and to meditate. He didn't really say to meditate on what, because it's a process of negation, negating this world, achieving nirvana, which is just some vague state of freedom from suffering, not very clearly defined in Buddhism what it is. In fact, they say you can't say what it is. So in this way, they were atheists, but he put them on a path that for atheists is auspicious, getting them to accept regulation. And then Sankaracharya came later to preach to these Buddhists. He came to preach to the Buddhists and to turn them into Vedantists in person. So he had to build a bridge to Vedanta from their Buddhistic Shunyavad to this Advaita Vedanta, this impersonal, all is one Vedanta, because that they could conceive of. Like they could conceive of some state which in many ways is the same as their conception of Shunya. There's no name, no form, no activity, but there is at least Sat, eternal existence. Whereas in the Buddhist Shunyavad, even that is not there. So think of it that way, his contribution, the contribution he made preaching to the people that he had to preach to. Therefore, we don't have to preach to them now. Anything else? Yes, of course you have a question.
It's just that this word Santa, and now we are in Christmas, well, that's got anything to do with Santa Claus. Is there a connection? Or?
Yeah, there is a connection.
There's a connection.
Yeah, because
How did
Santa
it-
means saint also.
But Santa Claus was never in the in Christ.
No,
never,
Santa
scripture,
is
no.
actually
Never in the scripture.
Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas is originally some pagan European pre-Christian entity of some kind or other who he said to, I was a few months ago in Finland, and the Finns believe that the original Saint Nicholas comes from their country, and they even have like a holy place. They have a commercial Santa Claus village where the typical, American Santa Claus with a big beard and red suit. But then they have another place way out in the woods somewhere where the Finns know about, only them, and the original this Nicholas came from, and he was some kind of forest wizard or something like that. And there are many old stories, some old stories about him. And then, the Christianity incorporated so much of, because the Christianity itself, they don't know. They don't know when Jesus Christ was born. They do not know when he was born. This Christmas festival is simply assigned to the date of the solstice. Solstice means the days get shorter, and then on the day when they start to get longer. So that falls in December. Now they calculate, I think, around the 22nd of December. So in Rome, in ancient Rome, 25th, that day was the day of the change of solstice. And this was a great pagan festival. So the Christians just wanted to, take over the European culture, so they just plugged Jesus Christ's appearance day into that pre-existing festival, religious festival, the change of the solstice. And Easter, which is the day of Christ's coming out of the tomb that he was placed in. This is, they don't know what day that was either, but there was a goddess Ostara that was worshipped on that day, so they just plugged Easter, into that day, and that's why it still has the name Easter. The name Easter comes from the name of this goddess Ostara. It has nothing to do with Christianity at all. And so, interesting, isn't it? That's why it's called the Roman Catholic Church. Because the background is Roman paganism. Yes?
This is a very general question regarding Jesus Christ. There's a lot written about Jesus Christ in the Bhavashya Purana. They
Yes.
say actually had come to India,
Yes.
and even I think there is a reference to Muhammad in
Yes,
some
there is.
part of the.
Yes.
So, how does this relate to the thing? Because actually they
Relate
say
to what?
they say Jesus Christ died in the cross and he never came to India according to that tradition, European.
They don't know. There is this period of Christ's life after he was about 13 years old till the time he started preaching. They don't know what he did. There's no record. So because they want to maintain their orthodox doctrine, therefore they say, no, he didn't come to India. But they don't know what he did. So in the Bhavishya Purana it says in that time of his youth, he came to India and he learned. He became disciple of a spiritual master in India, someone, we don't know who. In Bhavishya Purana he's called Isa. And then he went back and he preached. And then afterwards he returned to India. So what they know is, they do know that Jesus Christ, he was crucified, he was put in the grave, and then a few days later he came out. Because he was a great yogi. And then he was moving around. They say he was moving around for at least 40 days. That's the traditional Orthodox Christian belief, that for 40 days he was moving among his disciples in a very mysterious way. Sometimes visible, sometimes invisible. Mystic powers. Yeah, mystic powers. And then they say he ascended into heaven. But Bhavishya Purana says he went back to India. So compared to Palestine of those days, India was heaven. They're hanging people on cross and things like that. So India was heaven. Yes.
Guru Maharaj, I heard that he came to India he studied in Nalanda University.
Well, that's some esoteric people say that. Some esoteric people say that. You see, that's some people say that. Then in Pakistan they have some place where Jesus Christ's tomb, and they say he got married, and there's a family that is descended from Jesus Christ. So that's another story of Jesus in Pakistan. And the Tibetan Buddhists say he was a Buddhist, and so.
And the Mormons said he went to America after that.
Oh, the Mormons say he went to Japan. And the Japanese say he went to Japan. That's true also. I just remember. There's some Japanese who say he went to Japan, so
But I heard that there is no bona fide version of this Purana.
You heard from who?
Guru Parantana, he said.
Well, I heard from Prabhupada that it is bona fide.
It's bona fide.
How about that? It's right in the database. It's not only just heard, it's written. Prabhupada said it to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Whatever there is correct, he said. Whatever is in that Purana is correct. That's what Prabhupada said. I've told this to Gopi Janabalabhava. I don't know. Yeah?
Srila Sanatana Goswami, he wrote his famous Brihad-bhagavatamrita, and it's pretty much about chanting and smiling. Why he's not mentioning the Mahamantra there?
Why don't you ask him? Why you ask me?
You're his
Why do you even think of it?
representative.
You see, I don't feel like I have to answer these kinds of questions. Is that there's a problem I see. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't know why devotees have to pull questions out of the air like this. I mean, do you stay up at night thinking about them?
No, I read this book, and it's a lot about Gopal mantra and different mantras, but it's a big book, and
So what is your conclusion? The Hare Krishna mantra isn't
no,
there.
I'm just asking
So what do you conclude?
Why he's not
Well,
mentioned?
why? Why do you wonder about that? Why don't you ask Krishna why he didn't put the Hare Krishna mantra in the Bhagavad Gita? Huh?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
book is about Vrindavan Dham, and
Well, Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita is about Krishna.
it's a different
Different
mood.
mood, huh? Okay. Well, these things you know best yourself. I don't even know what you're talking about now. You've got this all worked out in your mind, something about different moods and this and that. Makes no sense to me, I'm sorry. You're going to have to work this out yourself with someone else. But I really don't see the necessity of inquiring like this. Why Hare Krishna mantra isn't, it's not actually even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Did you know that? How about that? Lord Chaitanya. Wow, you're going to have to go home and beat your head against the wall about
That
these
was
things.
my next questions.
Huh?
It will be my next.
That would be not to me. Not to me, mister. Not to me. Ask someone else. Go home and hit your head against the wall all night about this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anything else? You're from Russia, right?
No,
Where are you from?
it's some other country.
In the CIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all ask questions like this there. That's why I don't like to go there. Last time I went there, I said, there must be a factory here somewhere. Where they just churn out these kind of questions. Not everyone worries about these things, you see.
I'm not worried, I'm just asking. It's not a
Yeah,
problem
but you
for me.
shouldn't... If you're not worried, then don't ask. And if you are worried, then you should ask your guru. Yes?
Raj, this your fire sacrifice and this amazing deity worship, would you like to give us some advice to do little more into it, like how to do it properly? Next your like tomorrow's seminar, like will you explain a little more how to do it?
About deity worship and the seminar and the Hare Krishna mantra, I don't think so.
No, like your fire sacrifice things. I would like to learn little, like Padma Sambhava Prabhu, and he's very into it.
I'm going to do this fire sacrifice on the last day
Okay.
again. So tomorrow we'll just chant the Santarana Upanishad together, like we did today, and then on Monday we'll, without me chanting first, we'll all just chant it together. And do that the fourth day also. And this way try to learn how it goes. And we'll conclude the last session with another sacrifice. Okay then. Thank you.